Cats and Coffee with Cindy and Ray. Cats and Coffee was late last week, and I emailed it over what I thought the footage to Ray, and then I left and I was gone, and I only had my phone with me, and Ray did not actually get the footage, and it's totally my fault he didn't get it to put it on the Touch Not channel. I want to apologize to your viewers, Ray.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry. I am not technically adept. I'm like running around, shooting from the hip, some of this stuff. Some stuff I know how to do, some stuff not so much.
That's okay.
Make it, but I want to apologize to you, Ray, and also because we take the time to do it. You want to put it out on this is your baby. This is your baby, Cats and Coffee. I had my coffee.
Right. But it's all right. I did something that we're gonna do a replacement for a short while till we get that going.
Yeah,
I had a great conversation with somebody and we recorded that. So I'm gonna have that as well.
Okay.
A local thing.
I cannot wait to see that. We're happy you're joining us here today. We're a little bit off the beaten track in terms of talking about so much McBain this week. We've had some interviews. We have some more coming up with Richard McBain of McBain this week. As we've talked about before, we might jump around a little bit, and it's not just that we can only talk about whatever clan we're spotlighting in the month. We're doing a lot about with McBain, but we've had some requests, and we just want to thank people. Thank you for chiming in. Posting on YouTube actually does help our algorithm and helps this video be seen. So you're actually helping us if you put some comments, and let us know what you want to see. And we're really happy to get the feedback. Before we jump into that, I need to make a correction. Having said that, the Clan Hattan Association has its 12 major clans. Philip Beddows is the Clan Shenna.
Again, say again?
It's the Clan Shenna. He's not the only one in the 12. There is another. And Clan MacThomas has a Shenna as well. And his name is Graham Tom, Thom. And unofficially also Robin, who's the vice president of Clan MacThomas. So I just wanted to let you know, I wanted to make that correction, and thank you so much, Virginia, for letting me know. A big shout out to Virginia Kring for Clan MacThomas. She does all their social media and is doing a fabulous job. Virginia, keep it up. You're doing a fantastic job with Clan MacThomas, and we can't wait for that month to speak more with you, and we try to share everything that they've got going on as well. But please chime in if you're with another clan, if you're helping with social media, if you want to get more information. And it doesn't matter if you want to know more about the McBains, because it's March McBain month. If it's anything at all, chime in. So Ray, you also got some requests, and so we're going to go ahead and honor those.
I did. Also want to say hi to Virginia Kring. Also, I know who you are, Virginia, and thank you so much. I'm in contact with you now and then, and thanks for doing what you do. Thanks everyone who does anything for any of the clans that we don't know yet. We'd like to meet you and find out what you do.
Yes, and through this YouTube channel too, I'm getting people communicating on our social media that want to convene in other parts of, well, Canada and the United States. And that's lovely. So keep those requests. If you have an interest in convening at one of your local Highland games, and Ray and I aren't there, or Diana's not there, or if you're convening for one of the other 12 major clans and Clan Hattan is not represented, and you want to go ahead and represent for Clan Hattan as well, message me, contact me through YouTube, instant messenger, and I will get back to you on that, or leave a comment below. But we are very appreciative. We want to have a big outreach and
Right.
yes. So
so I've gotten a request from I believe this man is a McBain, Will Slater. Hi, Will. He's in Ohio, I believe. Will, I hope I get that right. He asked me about the Battle of Harlaw, which some people have mentioned to me that a lot of McBains were lost there and such. I couldn't find a lot about that. I'm sure that's a fact, and other clans as well lost many men there.
Hi,
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to make this quick little video insert for this week's Cats and Coffee, just to make some clarifications. And thank you, Philip Beddows. If everyone hasn't seen his interview below, or our conversation, I should say, I'll link it here. Philip Beddows is the Clan Shenna for Clan MacBean. And yes, by the end of March, we are all going to be pronouncing Shenna correctly. So, in other words, Philip Beddows is a genealogist and historian for Clan MacBean. And I just wanted to make some clarifications on the Battle of Harlaw. So this was, in fact, a most significant historic event for Clan MacBean, as it was recorded that they took more casualties than any other clan in the Clan Chattan, what was the Confederation at that time. The Kinrara mentions this as follows on page 9. In the year 1411 at the Battle of Harlaw, McIntosh lost in this battle many of his friends and people, most especially of that of the Clan MacBean. Now, in the Kinrara, you'll see Clan MacBean mentioned early on and written as Clanvean, which is Clanvean, and that is the Clan MacBean. Furthermore, Charles Fraser-Mackintosh in his minor sects of Clan Chattan repeats this as follows. The McIntosh history referring to the Battle of Harlaw in 1411 narrates that McIntosh lost in this battle many of his friends and people, especially from the Clanvean. This loss so greatly depressed the McBains that he was unable to trace the succession from this period of time until about 1500, the time of Gillies. A.M. McIntosh in his McIntoshes and Clan Chattan also covers this as follows. After slaying the Red Commons captain of Inverlochy, came to the Connaught and placed themselves and their posterity under the protection of the McIntoshes and his successor. For some half the century afterwards, in the MS, is silent concerning the McBains, and its next reference is a mournful one, to the effect that none of the Clan Chattan tribes suffered so severely at Harlaw in 1411 than Clanvean. There's also an old poem about the Battle of Harlaw, which records in Clan Donald call to battle, and it was in Gaelic. But there is an English version, which I will link down below. So I'll put it on the screen, and then I'll link it below. One imagines that it was the first expressed by their clan Shenna and passed down orally for a long time before written down. But there's a memorial which some of the Clan Chattan attended at the 600th anniversary in 2011. And I think one or two of our clan chiefs from the Clan Chattan Association were in attendance at that memorial.
I'm going to give a little overview of Harlaw itself, though. The battle, actually the lead up to the battle, is really all I'm going to mention here, but quite a lot of political intrigue there. I'm going to just look at my notes here, if you don't mind.
Please do.
Yeah, so this is 1411. 1411. King James was imprisoned in London at the time. His brother, the Duke of Albany, I wrote down, was running the front office. So he had a lot of responsibilities. His brother was in jail. The king was in jail. So the Duke of Albany was running things, or he wanted to run things, put it that way. And so he was taking over quite a bit of things in the king's absence. The Duke of Albany's young granddaughter had become an orphan, I believe, in the earldom of Ross. She had become an orphan. Now her grandfather, the Duke of Albany, decided to take her under his wing, and probably Ross as well, if he could. So he kind of made some moves in that direction and decided to take responsibility for her and take over some things politically in that area, and financially, I'm sure, which did not go well with Donald of Islay, Lord of the Isles. His wife was the aunt of this little girl in Ross. She was the aunt of the heiress of Ross. So Donald of Islay decided to step in and try to put a stop to what the Duke of Albany's designs on Ross were. And what he did to do that was to make a step in that direction. He actually attacked or went after the Duke of Albany's nephew, who was the Earl of Mar. Alexander Stuart, the Earl of Mar, had a lot of military power. So in his uncle, the Duke of Albany's stead, he faced Donald Isla at the Battle of Harlaw. I didn't really write down too much about the battle itself. This was a lot of the political lead up to it. I know it's become a thing about Lowland against Highland and non-Gaelic speaker against Gaelic speaker. That's sort of the cutoff date or time or battle that people say that sort of squashed Gaelic from going any further or from getting any stronger, making any recovery. I don't know about that. There's a lot of controversy about that part. He went over through at Dingwall, and Mackay, who was on the side of the Earl of Mar. Clan Mackay apparently did not give them much of a fight. What I read, they were called, they swept them aside and continued into Inverness. It ended up at near Aberdeen is where the Battle of Harlaw took place. Before they got to Aberdeen to destroy that, they had to be stopped, and this was at Harlaw where the battle took place, which is, I think, very long, quite a good part of the whole day, and perhaps evenly matched. So I'm not going to say a lot about the battle itself or the outcome, but a lot of my research took place in the political lineup to it, which is quite complicated, like you say.
I do have an aerial view picture, which I'll go ahead and insert here so people can see kind of a little bit about areas of Scotland that we're talking about. I know many people have not been to Scotland, and even if you've been over, and it's kind of hard to know where these things would have taken place. Are Tornish castles involved in this? And there's a tombstone of Gilbert de Greenlaw in Kinkill Church. And it's from 1411. You know, this is by and large known in modern times as the Dark Ages. And
Yes.
so it's tough to get written history, accurately written history, from those times. And a lot of times when historians or people who write about history want to go and do research, they have to go and really try to find people who were titled, oftentimes, who had accounts or journals kept, and who had people or secretaries who kept accounts or journals for them. Or in some cases in Scotland, it was the clan chiefs handwriting. And so we have several references we try to use for some of this. The main three that I know of now, they conflict each other sometimes too. Sometimes they agree and sometimes they don't. And so we can always make that assertion. We could say, hey, so like here, I'm always showing this one. This is the Kinrara. Just because it's McIntosh, you have to remember in the days of the Clan Chattan Confederation, the chief of McIntosh was the chief of Clan Chattan for many, many years. And so you're going to find a lot of information about all the clans of Clan Chattan throughout this whole book. And then you have the Farr manuscript and you have the 1467 manuscript. And as far as I can understand it, these are like the ones that are written. These were originally written by hand, and then they had to be translated to some degree. Some were written in English, some were written in Latin. So it's interesting. We have to go back and kind of read through them. I'm trying to get my hands on the Farr manuscript right now so that I can cross-reference it with the Kinrara. But you know, there's discrepancies through these. And unfortunately, the references that were used to compile this information were all lost. So they can't be checked. So all we can really do is pull out those other two manuscripts and try to get them try to look at them, and I'd like to look at the 1467 manuscript, and that's in Edinburgh. And
Hey, we need to get a Shenna on that assignment. Okay.
we do. We need to do that so that we could get going, because it's rather complicated, and you know, maybe when I retire, I'll have a lot of time to really go over everything. And also the journals, the Clan Chattan Association journal. So now in modern times, Clan Chattan is an association. If you've watched this channel, if you're affiliated, you know that. And the current association is about 90 years old, 91 this year. We get together and we discuss history, we learn about history, and we socialize. So and that's why we're here. But in previous centuries, they banded together for protection, as we always talk about. It's really tough to get the history, Ray, but I love what you're doing. You're making it fun, little tidbits of information. So again, everybody go over to Ray's channel, at Ray McCat, his Touch Knot channel.
That's right, the touch knot.
Touch
Yeah, you mentioned the journals. You know, that's one of the things I've been doing is going through some of the old journal, and they're tough to get through. Some of them, like you said, the articles they're so informational and factual that that's literally what they are. They're going to be tough to read because facts are, but that's where I've been getting some of the information of some of the clues of different things and where to go for ideas. Those journals are just sitting there and they're packed with things, and I don't want it to all stay there in the back of a journal that no one. I know they're available to get copies and such, but like you say, it's not the kind of thing that people read these days. It's too bad, but we need to unlock it and maybe present it in a different way if we can.
Currently, the Clan Chattan Association, if you are a member, there's an area on the website you can log into to get the journals. And I am trying to get permission, because I don't want to step on anyone's toes, to take excerpts from those journals. Hopefully we'll have some permission very soon to share some of the information that's in the journals. But for now, like the Kinrara, I'll just read a little bit about what this is.
Please do.
So it's written by its author here. In the Chronicle of the Family of McIntosh to the year 1680, the Kinrara. This is by Lachlan McIntosh of Kinrara, edited by Jean Munro. And in here, he writes, this is the genealogy of the family of McIntosh from their original until the year Christ 1680, with some brief chronological observations relating thereto. Faithfully collected out of old records, chronicles, registers, manuscripts, and other evidence by an impartial hand. So that's what he writes. And I stumble over a little bit because it's still, you know, the words are spelled a little bit differently. You can read them phonetically, but it's English. It's fascinating to understand who feuded with who and the reasons why. And
Right.
sometimes they were quick, like, hey, we had this one fight and now the feud's over. And then, of course, in the case with the Camerons and the McIntoshes, that went on for 300 years, 3 centuries, the longest running feud in the history of Scotland. And it's going to be fun to read that. And it don't let it defer you that it says it's a chronicle of the family McIntosh, because like we were saying, the McIntosh for many centuries was also the chief of Clan Chattan, and so it's very much all of Clan Chattan found throughout the entire Kinrara.
Right, he would have been very familiar with all the clans and the goings on, and been part of what goes on, literally, because he was chief of the Hatton Confederation. So this was 1680, about.
Yes, it's up to 1680.
Okay, so
Year
so
16.
we talk about the bond being written in 1609, right?
Yes,
So the bond of union we talk about was 80 years old at this time.
that was the most official when they met at Termit, the Rocket Termit, and
Okay.
in 2009, when we went to Inverness and Moy and in the area in which all of these events took place, and we signed the new bond of union in 2009.
And
it
one
was
more
one of the-
clarification, the 1609 was a band of union, and I might have mispronounced that bond of union. It's a band of union, meaning that the Clan Chattan clans banded together, and they banded together for security. Hope this clears some things up, and please enjoy the rest of Cats and Coffee.
We all marched through the city of Inverness in a big parade. Up to City Hall. There were a lot of events that went on, but we also went to Termit where this was signed, and it's actually located on some farmland. And there's a rock there now with a plaque on it that we all put there in 2009. So you can go there and visit this site, and it's incredible to be there in the middle of nowhere and to think a big thing happened. There were other more informal bands that went on during the centuries and over the centuries and between different clans. And you can see, some of the Clan Chattan clans that originally were together. Talking with Philip Beddows, he said originally the Camerons were part of Clan Chattan. A feud that took place because there was a castle at Loch Harbour that the McIntoshes had. And because the Lord of the Isles kind of came after, it was making war on the mainland area. For protection, they went down into the Inverness area. Well, when they did that, the Camerons moved into the empty castle and they refused to leave. And for this whole entire feud that ran with the Camerons, the McIntoshes would petition the different kings. They would go try to lawfully make the claim, and they were always told, yes, this is your land, this is your castle, you were right. And still the Camerons wouldn't leave. And time again, they would have battles, and the rest of Clan Chattan would battle with them against the Camerons. During this feud, there were fights, and the McIntoshes and Clan Chattan would always win, and still the Camerons would not leave. So we'll save that for another time. The Kinrara really spells it out and talks about how the McIntoshes with some of the other members of Clan Chattan during the feud, and this was news to me, they went to a church where the Camerons went to church on Sundays with their entire families.
Okay.
And this was in Loch Harbour. And they knew the Camerons were going to be in the church for a Sunday service, and their whole families were in there. My reaction to that is, oh my goodness, what? I couldn't believe that. That's not a story that people talk about. That's in the Kinrara. There's so many things that went back and forth during that feud, bad things on both sides.
Right. Yeah, it's nothing you want to call the newspapers about, I suppose, but I'm sure that happened more than we think.
I heard a loud boom. I don't know if you heard it. I think I have these big windows back here. I don't know if you could see them. A large bird hit the window.
Oh,
wow. I wonder if that was like a sign of.
right.
That rarely happens. Here I'm talking about the Cameron feud.
The Bird Clan. Right.
They're still coming after us, Ray. Anyway. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Ray, what have you got coming up in terms of activities? I know that you've got a couple things coming up, and we talked about it last week, but let's talk again just to make sure people are making arrangements, getting tickets, getting interested.
Yeah, sure. So there's a tartan ball at Andover, Massachusetts, April the 6th, which is Tartan Day, April 6th, Saturday night. Andover, Massachusetts at the Indian Ridge Country Club. There's a group called the Scots Charitable Society and the New England Center for Scottish Arts. They're getting together and they're running a tartan ball. And they're both great nonprofit groups in New England. So trying to give them a boost and plug in this all I can. That's April the 6th. And then April the 20th, Salem High School. The Chestnut Channel will be there. The Clan Chattan Association, we're all one anyway. We'll be there. The New Hampshire Pipes and Drums is a large band that is involved with the New England School of Scottish Arts. That band basically has many members that are former students and present students of the of the New England Center for Scottish Arts. So this is how this works. They feed new members into bands. That's how these people, what they do. So that's April the 20th, indoors at Salem High School. After that, June the 15th will be the No Fame Games at Milford, Massachusetts. Followed by June 29th, Charlestown, New Hampshire, also the No Fame Games, a new event up there at Old Fort number 4. So that's the rundown of the next 4 events.
The 2024 Las Vegas Highland Games is coming up April 13th and 14th at Craig Ranch Park. This is a new location for us here. Las Vegas is an interesting place. The Strip and everything that you think about when you think of Las Vegas is kind of a bubble. It's a whole like world in and unto itself. It's a bubble. People come and go from all over the world constantly, 24 hours a day. There's lots of different attractions that you wouldn't even imagine unless you came here and you've been here before. And then there's everything outside of the Strip, and we people who have homes here and lives here, that all the way around, that's a completely different lifestyle and way of life. If you come to Las Vegas Highland Games, there's many other things for you to do. Relatively inexpensive to fly in and out of Las Vegas. So it's a good games to come to. You want to come and join us here for that, April 13th and 14th. And then also the Inverness Celtic Society puts on an event every year closest to the Saturday in April to the Culloden Battle, which was April 16th. So this year, that Saturday falls on April 13th. You will be hearing some more history and information about the Culloden Battle and Clan Hatton's role in that battle from Philip Beddows and Denise and Donald as well, who will be going and placing a wreath at the cairn on the battlefield on that day to commemorate the sacrifices that the Clan Hatton Confederation at that time made. Clan Hatton as a confederation lost more people in that battle of any other clan, with the clan name at the front of the stone, and we'll show some of those so you can see those. And we're going to hopefully get some coverage, video coverage of that event at the Culloden battlefield. It's a very humbling, emotional event, and the clans all place wreaths at that cairn. That was the pivotal moment I was discussing with Philip, perhaps in clan history, Scottish clan history. The clan system was absolutely done at that point. It had been on its way out and faltering for some years. And of course, there were 2 Jacobite uprisings, and that was the second and the final. It kind of was the last straw that broke the camel's back, as it were, for the clan system and the clan way of life. And so it was a pivotal moment in Scottish history, and we lost, as a Clan Hatton was the Confederation, now the Association, lost the most people in that battle. And so we want to make sure we're covering that here on this channel so that people are aware of that and know the history of it.
Yeah, it's so wonderful that all the leaders or whoever's there that can go out there and take the time to walk that walk and leave the wreaths. It's just such a nice thing to be able to do. I think they're doing in the name of everybody that's watching now and that kind of thing, in the name of all the clans. It's such a great thing. I hope they know that what a role they play to basically represent all of us there.
I dare say that if you have a surname that belongs to any of the clans in the Clan Hatton, you most likely have an ancestor and a relative that was in that battle. Some people did escape. So we'll be covering more of that, and also more on McBain for the month of McBain. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes, Donald McBain. If you've seen Donald McBain on the touch knot, he's not done yet. He's taking a little rest, but he'll be back.
Oh my goodness.
Right. The further back you go, the more united we become, it seems.
It's a history that's about 1,000 years old, give or take. And it's a very rich history. People over time, maybe, lifespans a few hundred years ago, maybe the average lifespan was 50-ish years, 60. Now we're pushing more towards 100. I know we're probably in the 80s technically, but some people are living to be in their 90s, 100. And we just had the Farquharson clan chief live to be 102.
Yes.
So, just looking at him, his particular part in this whole 1,000 years, we all play a part. No matter who we are, we're part of this living history. And he was 102 years part of the history. I'm so far 52 years, my little small role over here. And you, Ray, don't have to give your age, but you're playing your part, not to put you on the spot. You're playing your role. So we're all part of it. So let's participate. Let's participate and do our part. And when we go and leave this world, we're going to hand it over like this to the next generations so that it's not lost.
Right. Books like that, Kinrara, we're trying to take a look at that and bring it alive for people who might never know it existed. And I'm enjoying this very much, very much. Thank you, everyone, for letting us do this. And hopefully you're enjoying it too. And please help us continue by participating, please.
Yes, make some comments, make more requests. Don't be shy. And Ray, as always, thank you for your unending patience with me as I try to get more technically savvy. Thank you, Ray, for your patience. And I apologize again to your viewers. If anything's late coming out and you're expecting it, it is me, not Ray. So
All right, glad to hear it.
thank you so very much. Everyone have a wonderful week. Until next week.
Touch not.
Not.
One more time. Shennachaidh. Shennachaidh.
Shennachaidh. So think of it like
Shennachaidh.
this: Shenneeehee. It's Shennachaidh.
Okay.
I keep doing it until I get it right.
We're having a ball at this, Cindy. I hope everyone else is having fun like I am right now. Oh my gosh.
Me too. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.